Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The BCPOU president reacts to recent comments made by a Liberty executive.
The health minister promises that surgical procedures will soon resume at PMH.
A 10-year-old boy needs your help with medical bills for a rare genetic condition.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Top news tonight, the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union blasting what it called repulsive comments by Liberty Latin America CEO Balan Nair, who in a video called BTC one of Liberty's lowest performing subsidiaries. Nair also joked about a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and his request for more Bahamians to be placed in top posts. Jasmine Brown has more.
Roll says he was simply baffled by the comments that he described as disgusting.
I spoke to one of the board members yesterday, and I told them how I found the remarks so repulsive and insulting. And you could imagine how my members, I've been getting calls left, right, and center yesterday from all across the archipelago, how persons were so upset.
Roll was responding to these comments made by Nair, who was recently addressing Liberty's Jamaican employees.
The premier store in the Bahamas, Gary and I talked about this on Monday, and you look at that store and you look at this, a small store, I don't know if it's a small store, but it's a lot smaller than the one in the Marathon Mall in Bahamas. And that store here, that smaller store, is just like bustling with energy. Yes. But not just because there's so many customers in there, but because there's an equivalent amount of floor employees in there helping them. Every floor employee is there, not standing around, they're just like, how can I help you get what you want? And that is the difference. It's like night and day difference. My biggest wish is one day they would say, we can be like Jamaica. We can do what they've done in this country.
While Nair said he expects BTC to become a better performing operation in the future, he suggested it will be a slightly longer project. Nair also recalled a meeting he had with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and BTC CEO Garfield Sinclair last week Monday.
It is so funny. I'll tell you a story. Gary and I and a few others was meeting with the Prime Minister of the Bahamas on Monday. And you can see him standing there. His crown jewel, BTC, is run by a Jamaican who's sitting right across from him. And he's like, he brought up more than once, we need more Bahamians.
However, Roll insisted the Prime Minister's requests were no laughing matter. He called on Dr. Hubert Minnis to respond.
The Bahamian people is waiting, and they ought to be waiting, as the members and my members here in BTC are waiting to hear from the Prime Minister. Would the Prime Minister, since his name was invoked in it, would say ye, sir, to what Mr. Nair, that is, say about your actions in a closed meeting.
As for Nair's assessment that BTC is a low performer, Roll says those at the top need to take the blame.
These are the driving forces in this business. They're the coach. And so if that's where the leadership comes from, then the fault should be on them, not us.
It's a sentiment that was shared by PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell, who released a statement saying the joke was on Nair. He added Nair simply ran the company poorly and it has nothing to do with Bahamians and their productivity. Mitchell also called on the Minnis administration to inform Nair that given his views, he and his company are no longer welcome in the Bahamas. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, BTC CEO Garfield Sinclair insisted in a press statement today that no fire has been started. Sinclair said he believes Nair's statements were taken out of context and do not convey the full essence of the message that was delivered. He added that Liberty Latin America is extremely supportive of BTC, values its employees, and remains committed to building a culture of high performance where colleagues are able to thrive and deliver. Well, a badly burnt body was discovered following a house fire this morning. According to officer in charge of Police Fire Services, Chief Superintendent Walter Evans, firefighters were alerted to the blaze at Sunlight Village off East Street shortly after 11 a.m.
3 minutes after receiving this information, units had arrived and they met heavy flames coming from the top rear section of a single-story structure. Officers vigorously attacked the fire, and upon the extinguishment, suppression officers found what appeared to be a lifeless human remain at the rear of the structure.
It is unclear if the man lived in the home. As police launched an investigation into the matter, Evans says they are following several leads.
We found the body. It was going beyond recognition. It appears to be that of a male. An autopsy has to be confirmed has to be performed to confirm the cause of death in this incident today.
What section of the building?
Pardon me?
What section of the building?
This is at the rear section of the building.
Have you spoken to the owner of the house?
We have spoken to what we believe. Two persons are assisting us with some information at this stage, and I will provide further details later.
Amid pushback from the Bahamas Public Service Union, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands doubled down on his claim that challenges with Princess Margaret Hospital's chiller system were the result of sabotage. Sands said if a culprit is identified at the conclusion of the police investigation, there will be consequences. Jillian Gray reports.
The health minister said they are well on their way to getting operations at PMH back to normal following the suspension of surgical procedures.
Health officials believe Sabotage may have been behind challenges with Princess Margaret Hospital's chiller system. The Bahamas Public Service Union has called that assertion ludicrous and demanded proof. However, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says he stands by that claim.
We have made a decision that the results of the investigation, if there are findings, and if there are recommendations for prosecution, we will proceed to prosecution. And justice should be served. So let the chips fall as they may, no matter who it is that's involved.
Sands also responded to BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson's call for health officials to stop passing the blame and ensure workers get the proper tools needed to maintain equipment. The health minister conceded that management can work more efficiently, but insisted that has nothing to do with this particular case.
I think there's actually some merit to some of these concerns, and the management of the complex at Princess Margaret Hospital and all the PHA hospitals is multifactorial. There have been issues about availability of supplies, funding, and so on and so forth. But that in no way explains what has happened to the cooling system right now.
PHA recently signed a $1.15 million contract for 2 cooling systems and has temporarily rented 2 chillers, which are expected to be installed over the next 24 hours. Following the suspension of non-emergency surgical procedures over the weekend, Sands said doctors will have to continue to work around the clock to make up for lost time.
The medical teams certainly have tried to keep the levels, the backlog, the waiting list down. This has now bumped it back up, and we're going to have to determine how that can be most effectively managed. We hope that we don't have any more problems.
Dr. Sands could not say how many patients were affected by the disruption in services. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
The family of a 10-year-old boy suffering from a rare genetic disease is appealing to members of the public for assistance with rising medical bills. Jared Higgs sat down with the 5th grader who says he just wants to live a normal life.
My condition, every time I go in the hospital, for some reason, I feel bad.
In most ways, Tyreek Butler is just like any other 10-year-old.
On some days, I used to go outside with my cousin. We used to do stuff. He used to let his dogs loose, and we used to play with them.
However, the difference between Tyreek and most other kids his age is that he suffers from a rare genetic condition known as hereditary angioedema.
At the age of 3 is when the swelling started.
Also known as HAE, hereditary angioedema only affects about 1 in every 50,000 people and is characterized by recurrent episodes of severe swelling. Tyreek's mother, 31-year-old Angelica Miller, says as a result of her son's condition, he can't participate in contact sports. Additionally, Every time he has a bout of swelling, he has to be hospitalized.
He can't go to school. It really plays a big role with him, the school, because he misses a lot of school because of that. He has to be hospitalized. He cannot be home.
There is currently no cure for HAE, and treatment can cost as much as $100,000 per year, depending on the severity and frequency of swelling attacks.
I have been doing water drives, cookouts, sponsorship letters, different stuff.
Now, the family's next water drive is July 27th on Carmichael Road, across from Quality Home Center. The next event they're going to have is a South-South on August 10th on Pinewood Park. After that, they're going to be traveling to the United States for more treatment. Meanwhile, little Tariq says he's just focused on his books.
In this school year, I only get back what I do a couple years. My honor roll, all my grades, everything.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks, Jared. Still to come, the DNA demands a vote of no confidence over the Town Center Mall debacle. Stay tuned.